Greetings all, and welcome to another episode of Pierre Speaks, your wellness edition. And today I want to talk to you about journaling and the importance of journaling. It's something that ultimately it helps you to stay accountable. I think that's one way, especially if you're working end to end where the client has one end of it and say the trainer or coach has another end of it. So I think it does help keep people accountable for their actions, whatever the interaction may be, whether it be training, wellness coaching, counseling of some sort. And that's a good thing about journaling, is that it can work in more than one arena. So it just doesn't work for training. But I think what it does is it gives you a good idea of where you were, and it does a good job of showing progress. And I always encourage any of my clients to go back and look at some of the previous entries, especially when we built up a good amount of entries and time spent together. When I first started journaling, it wasn't within the training realm. It was just for catharsis and things like that. But I kept it for years. And one of the things that was astounding to me was to go back and look where I was, where my mind was at that time, and how I was interacting with people, and what were some of the things that I was going through. And it showed me, ultimately it can show you growth. And that's what I got from mine. And it made me feel a certain way. It made me feel good that I was no longer in those places, in that dark place, or in a rut where I felt like I couldn't get out of it. So I think that's one of the good things about journal. The other thing, it is a good way to, as I just said, to give cathartic release in some regards. Now, I guess I use journaling in a couple of ways. One is like for a food log for my wellness coaching, and the other can be for like as a, more like the diaries that most of us are used to, our sisters having when we were growing up, or things like that. On the food log, I think it's huge, where when going back into the accountable thing on the open-ended accountability thing, certainly shows how the client, it can show patterns, it can show trends and things like that. And what I try to urge my clients to do is, even if you're just writing your intake down for the day, I also would like you to note how you might have felt at that time, or if you did something that you might have ate something that wasn't on the approved list at that time, let's say. And especially in instances like that, write down how you felt, because if nothing else, if you're not aware of it, it can give you an idea of what your triggers are. And if you find out what your triggers are, then you can, even before it gets to that point, you can see yourself sliding into that familiar territory and kind of take care of it before it even gets to the point where you're going hand to mouth, which ultimately lends to intake guilt. So those are some of the various ways that I think journaling is a good thing. But another thing I'll add to that is that for me, it was integral in revealing the creative aspect I had in me, and the ability to really pull my thoughts and my feelings together and be able to express them. So that kind of turned into something else, which it turned into poetry for me, which is, as some of you already know, I have the other part of my channel, which is the Poetry Spot. And I think a lot of it came from my ability, those years of journaling, and how better I got at being able to express myself. And once I was comfortable enough to comfortable enough in doing that, I became comfortable enough to share some of the work that I was doing with other people. So, for me, it was an offshoot of just trying to keep my mental state together. So I thought that was a pretty good thing. But at any rate, that's journaling. And let me know what you think. Let me know if any of you keep journals and what you might write about. And you can drop that down in the comment section. And like always, please smash that subscribe and like button. And let me know what you think of my content. And we will continue to put it out for you. This is Pierre Speaks, and this is your Wellness Edition. Be well.